Welcome everyone. I want to talk to you about compound events, which for our 7th graders was in Chapter 10, Section 4. Compound events. They consist basically of two or more events that happen side by side. We'll see what that means in just a second. A compound event, one of the ways that you can figure out all the possible outcomes of these events is to actually just make a sample space. Which means to create a table, a tree diagram, or just make a list of all the possible ways that an event could occur. Here's an example. Let's say you want some pizza. There's a couple of different kinds of crust, and there's a couple of different kinds of style pizza that you can have. The crust that you can get is either a thin or a stuffed crust. Those are your two choices. And the style of pizza that you could have would either be Hawaiian, Mexican, pepperoni, or veggie. So you could either get the Hawaiian thin, Mexican thin, pepperoni thin, or veggie thin. But you could also get the Hawaiian stuffed, Mexican stuffed, pepperoni stuffed, and veggie stuffed. It leads us to all our possibilities. And here's the list. You can tell that there are 8 different ways that you could order pizza at this particular restaurant. And so what we have here is a list of outcomes in our sample space, and we find out that there are 8 total possibilities for pizza here. Can I use a table to write this? Sure. Here's an example of the table. Notice I have thin and stuffed crust, and I have all my different kinds of pepperoni, or all my different kinds of pizza. So there is thin Hawaiian, and all the thin style pizzas, and all the thick stuffed style pizzas. Once again, you can see that there are 8 total possibilities. So if the pizza shop adds deep dish crust, how many possibilities are there going to be? Take a look. So now our crust no longer is just thin and stuffed, it's also deep dish. But the styles of pizzas stay the same. So the deep dish can also be deep dish Hawaiian, Mexican, pepperoni, and veggie. And notice we get some more possibilities to be able to have at this restaurant for a total of 12. What would happen if we added deep dish to our table here? Well, once again, we would be adding 4 more possibilities. And you can tell that there are 12 total possibilities no matter which way we write it. We asked the students, does this table make you think of anything in math? And they did a good job. They told me it made them think of multiplication, which I took them back to this old problem from 3rd grade. If there were 5 blocks in a row here, and we had 4 rows of 5 blocks.
Meeting in the library at 2:25, 5 minutes from now. Thank you.
That was our principal giving us an announcement. So sorry you had to wait through that. But if I had 4 rows of 5, then what that is a multiplication problem of 5 times 4, or 20 blocks. So if we look at this, we can notice that we've got the rectangle that shows us 3 types of crust and 4 types of pizza, and that's 3 times 4, which equals 12 possibilities. And this is a shortcut. It's called the fundamental counting principle. It says the total number of outcomes of an event followed by another event is simply the probability of the first event times the probability of the next event. Let's take a look. So if I had 5 t-shirts, 3 pair of jeans, and 2 pair of shoes, how many different outfits could I make? Well, we could either make a list like we had just previously done, or we could use the fundamental counting principle. If you use the fundamental counting principle, you'll notice it goes a lot quicker. 5 times 3, which is 15, times 2, which is 30. So you have a grand total of 30 outfits. Find the total number of possibility outcomes of rolling 2 number cubes. Well, let's see. If I want to do 2 number cubes, each possibility would be 6 because there are 6 faces on a number cube, so 6 times 6 would be 36 different possible outcomes. We've studied probability, and we know that the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes is how we find the probability of an event. So if we had the question, you roll 2 number cubes, what's the probability of rolling double 3s? Well, since there are 36 different outcomes when you roll number cubes, and only one way that you can roll double 3s, the probability therefore would be 1 out of 36. And that's our lesson. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. Thank you very much for listening.